Hey guys, welcome to Almonds and Coconuts, where we talk about slice of life topics focusing on traumatizing, embarrassing, and childhood stories from Indian kids living in America. I'm Arjun,
I'm shiny.
I'm Harshita.
I'm Bhavana.
and today we have a new cast member who you guys will probably be seeing more often.
I'm Hasini.
Yeah, and so today we're going to be talking about visiting India because, we're all Indian and we've been to India either to visit our family or friends. And we have a couple of stories and stereotypes that we'd like to share with you guys.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna start off. I think when you are packing for India, it always starts like 1 or 2 months before, and that's just not like putting your clothes in a suitcase or whatever. It involves you going to like Costco and mass buying chocolates and candies and like t-shirts and shoes and literally any basic thing you can find. And you end up having like 1 or 2 suitcases. At least for my family, we always have one suitcase filled with like just candies and chocolates.
Yeah.
And it's so annoying because like your parents, they take you to Costco and expect you not to like take any of the chocolates, and they don't even hide them. They leave them like right in front of you so that you could just watch the chocolates go into a bag and not be eaten.
Right?
Yeah, it's always
Yeah.
gifts for the cousins. It's like you either buy gifts. I feel like there's always chocolate because for some reason Indian chocolate is not up to the standard. So we always get chocolates for them. And sometimes we get like little gifts, even if it's
Yeah.
not, their birthday or something, we're only visiting them once a year. And so we
Yeah.
get them gifts. It's always gifts for the cousins. I feel like that's a standard for us.
Yeah, and then not only chocolates, but like I don't know why, but my grandparents had an obsession with like cereal. So we had to take massive boxes of cereal, Ritz biscuits,
Yeah, that's actually
Choco
so true.
Rooms, Hello Panda, everything.
My uncle has an obsession with Hello Panda. We brought them last time I went to India. I don't know why we did, but I don't know why we didn't do it the other time, but we bought it this one time, right? And my uncle, he is a grown man and he was so obsessed with these Hello Panda like chocolate like biscuit thingies, which by the way, I love. We love that combination of biscuit and chocolate. And every single
Yeah.
time he wanted a snack, he would always ask me or my mom and go like, "Do you guys have the Hello Panda biscuits?"
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's so true. I feel like at one point, well, she probably still does, but my grandmother, she was obsessed with Honey Bunches of Oats, which is my favorite cereal. We brought it once and then she was obsessed with that, and since then we've been bringing those every year, and whenever she eats cereal, it's always that.
Yeah, that's the cereal that my grandparents liked. Like they liked it so much that we didn't even go to India, but we just had to like ship it to them.
Yeah, I think even the trip to the airport is kind of funny because our parents like to go to the airport like 5 hours earlier than like required. So if the flight is at like 5 p.m., we'd be there at like midnight. We're like, yeah, we're ready. And the security and you know how we would always get like the biggest suitcases, like
Yeah.
Rashida said. Yeah, so while everyone else is with their small cute suitcases and they look so put together, my family has like three bags around our necks and then we have like five suitcases. We always max out and we get the most that we can. And it's just so funny
Right?
because
Oh my
everyone
God. Like
else,
you spend like a week of just
yeah,
weighing your suitcases, hoping
yeah,
that it fits the required amount. And it's always like really big suitcases too.
It's
right?
so embarrassing sometimes. Like everyone just manages to make it past like really quickly, but then us just standing there trying to take things out, making sure that it's like the
Right? And
weight.
you have like 9 suitcases around you for a small family of four.
I know.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's like a family of six with just like three
Three suitcases.
suitcases.
Because they probably don't go to India. Like they probably go to like a place near the US. So like they don't need to grab a lot of things. We go
But
once or
you know
like
how
once.
there's a domestic area and international area? These are the international flights. And these people just, I don't know. But then it's like you'll see other families there and you're like, why are we the only one carrying like the fattest, biggest suitcases one can find in a store? And you're just seeing us like pulling clothes out and pulling like bottles of something out and then putting them in another suitcase. And then you try them again and you're sitting there for a good like 30 minutes. Hope like with that person there that's working, making sure everything is fit to the standard of their, requirements or whatever.
I always find it like so embarrassing because that person always sounds so annoyed with us because it's like, oh, it's that kind of family again. They have so
Yeah, I remember once we were going to India and our suitcases were like too big. So they made us open our suitcases in front of everyone and we tried to reorganize the suitcases so they would like fit the requirement. It would always be so embarrassing because we have our clothes down on the floor and everybody would just be looking at us and we're like, oh great, this is just so embarrassing.
Right, and then you're just like trying to hide. It's like, yeah, I don't know these people. I'm here for some reason.
Mhm. And I feel like my parents, we also get like two empty suitcases because they like to do all their shopping in India. So every
Oh,
time I
right.
would like, yeah, I'd be like, Mom, can we go to the mall? She's like, no, save it when we're going to India in 2 years. And I would do all my shopping in India because apparently the clothes are like a bit cheaper. So we do all our shopping there, which is sometimes like kind of annoying.
We don't take two empty suitcases with us, but like in India itself, like my family already has like a bunch of empty suitcases saved for when we come.
For us, like, you know, the suitcases that we put chocolates in and stuff.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
we
yeah,
take
we use
chocolates
those.
out and then we use those.
Yeah.
I
But
don't know
like
how
those
the
are
chocolates
obviously
don't
gonna
get
be
like
empty.
melted while going to India. I'm so confused how they don't get melted because we get like 150 packs and stuff and they're not melted.
I don't know if it's just my mom, but like it doesn't matter if we need the thing or not because it's cheaper in India. We have to get it. Like it's just like in her nature.
Yeah, she's
I
like, "Do you
think
want a
it's
blender?"
like
I'm like, "Mom, we don't need a blender." She's like, "But it's 50% off." So we get a blender, and now we have like
no,
5
it's just
blenders.
within the Asian nature in general to look for deals and things that are there's coupons or whatever. That's why we're so weirdly obsessed with coupons and deals. Like you can have tons of money, but you will still look for, hey, that is 10% off. We're gonna go for that. We're not gonna go
I
for this.
I
Yeah.
can't even begin on how embarrassing that is. Like my aunt, she always like bargains with people. It's
Yeah,
so
that's so true. I was gonna mention that too. It's like, why do they have to negotiate? Not just in India.
Especially
They
auto
they
trips.
negotiate. Yeah, they negotiate a lot in India, but even in America, there's been one or two times where my mother has negotiated with people and been like, "Oh, well, I think that's just a bit too much," and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
No, because here's the thing, right? I am the person that doesn't want to confront people. I'm afraid of confrontation and I don't want to negotiate. Like you tell me, okay, I'm gonna stick with what you're saying. And then there's my mom and my dad or my relatives or whatever, and they will stand there for a good 10 to 15 minutes arguing to lower the price. And I'm just over here like, Amma, just accept the price. Just take it. Just take it. Let's get out of here. I don't want to make this person angry. And
I
especially
know.
auto drivers.
It's
Yeah,
Like
and then
so
okay.
annoying. No, because the auto drivers are like 15 rupees, and then my mom's like, no, make it 12. And I'm like, there's 3 rupees difference. Can you just
True.
pay 3 extra rupees for like a little
Yeah,
Like,
and for context,
no,
I think it's about 60 rupees per dollar. So like a
No,
couple
no,
of
if it's
rupees
like
is
for us, like we have to go to like a market and stuff, and like we have luggage and stuff, and it's like not even 2 minutes away. So it's like 10 to 15 rupees. So like
yeah,
my
yeah,
mom
yeah. I
like
know. I'm
bargains
just
for
giving
10 to 15 rupees.
Yeah, I'm giving
like
context that like 60 rupees per dollar, so a couple
I mean, it
rupees is
changes
very
every day,
cheap.
but it's around
It
60.
really
yeah.
does, but it's around that.
It's
Yeah.
yeah.
But the most embarrassing thing is like in America when they do it, like they literally had to get the manager to explain to my aunt that it's the law that you can't change it. You can't
That's so true.
negotiate. It's
Yeah, yeah, here like you
taxes.
can't negotiate prices, which I feel like is kind of a plus and a minus for us because it's like in India,
Yeah.
you can negotiate and you will be able to lower your price down, which is obviously a win for the customer, right?
Yeah.
But like, here's the thing, I'm the type of person that's like, I'm just gonna stick with what you're saying. I really don't want to confront you or your price. I'm too scared.
Yeah, like I'm scared to confront someone because like you don't know like what's gonna happen later. Like you could be
Yeah.
called by the manager or blah 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 and make
Okay.
like a huge fuss out of it.
Right? Like,
once,
but besides that, like, when we go to India, obviously there's all of that. But when you tell people that you're from America and you visit India, like, obviously my relatives know, my grandparents know, my uncles and aunts know, right? But like other people, when they find out that you are from America, you're automatically better
A
than
celebrity,
yeah,
like
you're just
you're a
automatically
legend.
better than them. It's like you live across the ocean. Wow.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like a celebrity going on a world tour to a place that they don't go very often or a less common place, and you're just so excited for some reason. And it's kind of it kind of feels good, if you know what I mean, because I'm like, oh, they're treating me really well. But also, if you think about it, I kind of feel bad for my cousins and stuff because,
Yeah,
you
I
know, they
feel
don't get treated
mostly
as well.
self-conscious though because the entire neighborhood knows me. So they're like, "Oh, it's that." They call me the American girl even though I'm like an Indian citizen.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they're like,
They
"Oh,
call
it's
you
that
American Papa or something.
yeah,
Like,
yeah." And then they're like, "Oh, speak Telugu for us." And I'm treated like a zoo animal because they just keep pointing at me and asking me
Yeah.
to say random words in
no, what I
Telugu.
feel is worse is because because I live in America, and here's the thing, right? When I speak to my mom or my dad or my sister, I speak in fluent English. I speak English, right? So when they see me talking, it's most likely in English, right? Because I'm talking to my sister or my mom. But then they assume that I just don't know how to speak my native language, and that's kind of insulting. Like, just because
Yeah.
I grew up somewhere that's not here does not mean I don't know how to speak our native language. And
Yeah,
then they're like,
Also,
hey, and then they ask my mom. They don't ask me. They ask my mom, "Does your daughter know Telugu?"
yeah.
And then I answer them with in full, like fluent Telugu. Like, yes, I do know how to speak. How
Yeah,
are
it's like
you
in your
doing? Like, and
face.
then they look so shocked because I have an accent, like not the American accent. I sound Indian.
yeah, like not
Mhm.
only that, but they'll like speak behind your back because they think you don't understand it. They're like, "Oh my gosh, look at her. She probably lives like such a good life in America. She probably thinks that we're like so stupid and stuff." I can understand them, but I don't want to like talk back to them because I feel really awkward.
Right? And it's just like, bro, yes, I didn't grow up here, but that does not mean I don't know how to speak. Like,
I don't know what they think our life is like in America, but they think like we live like legends or something. Like we have
Yeah,
all
it's
these
They
like
good
basically
we have
live
a
jobs.
like them.
palace.
They even have better houses than us, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
like
have bigger houses than
I'm
us.
super excited to go to my grandparents' house because they have such a big house. And it's like, I mean, I'm not trying to brag, but like, you know, they have a pretty big house, especially compared to our house in America. And, you know, here
Yeah.
prices are so high, education is very tough.
right?
And
Like, here's
so,
the thing. Like in India, like my dad built like a 4-story building with like, and we rent all the floors except the penthouse floor, and like that in itself is like, wow, you think I live better than you. Like maybe like education wise in some parts I might have better education. Like obviously it's a privilege to live here and I will admit that I have privilege to live here, but they assume that we have like millions and millions of dollars. We have like
yeah.
servants around us and we live in like the biggest of houses, and I'm like,
But
no,
the
we
truth
do
is,
not.
that's literally them.
If you
Like
think
Like,
that's like us, how much do they think about the president, for God's sakes?
Like if anything, they have the servants, they have the maids, the
yeah, they
cooks,
literally have the
everything.
maids and
We
stuff.
have to do everything on our
Yeah,
own.
like our moms have to complain about doing every dishes and everything else.
Like I'm not your bloody slave. We hear that every day.
I also wanted to talk about the clothing because in India you're expected, especially the girls, you're expected to wear a kurta or something and like be very traditional. And once I was wearing leggings, they didn't even show my knees. They were up to like just below my knees, but I don't consider it like slutty or whatever, right? But every time I go there, like once I was wearing, you know, those off shoulder tops, no, cold shoulder, I think they're like a hole.
oh, those are cute though. Those are
Yeah,
cute.
and I was wearing it once because it was like 105 degrees. What do they expect me to wear? And they were just talking behind my back. They're like, "Oh my God, you let your daughter wear those type of stuff." And my brother's wearing, he can wear an underwear and nobody cares because he's a boy apparently. And I can't wear the same stuff. And it's just really hard to like because I'm not used to that because in America you can wear whatever you want. I believe that's also like a difference in India.
No, and then I walk around with my like hair, like literally, I just took a head bath or something, and my hair is drying, so I walk around without a rubber band. And they're like, "Hey, wear a rubber band," and I'm like, "I'm drying my hair," and then I also have to put a botu every day, and I don't do that here, so it's a little weird to put that on every day.
For real. And also you're expected to wear braids and stuff. And if you wear a ponytail, you're considered Western or white. They're always like, you're becoming American. You're becoming American. I'm like, what does that even mean? I'm just wearing my hair in a ponytail. So yeah.
Yeah, and also, okay, so sorry for the technical difficulties. I think the recording paused there for a second, but I think Hasni, you had a story to share.
Yeah, so this one time we were going to a temple and my hair, like I just washed it. So I put it up in like a half up, half down style. And this homeless lady was like, "Can I have 20 rupees?" So like my dad gave her 20 rupees and then she started criticizing me. Like I gave her money and she's like, "You don't wear your hair like that. It's not good. It's a bad omen, this, that. Don't wear pants. That's not good. You should wear like a pattu pavada and things like that."
Yeah, I feel like sexism is like a really, I mean, it's not like a big thing people are changing. It depends on where you live, but in the village that I live, people are like more male favored, I guess you could say. Like the boys, they could, my brother, he would be
Yeah,
able to stay till 11, and
I guess
I
they're more. I feel like they're just sticking to the more traditional ways, but I feel like a lot of India is changing, and a lot of
yeah.
the world as well. So
Yeah, because like females are now getting jobs like software engineering. You see that in
yeah,
India.
You
now.
even see the
and the
vice
fact
president
that and the fact
here,
that we
like
have a vice president who's female,
yeah,
and she's also half
Indian.
Indian, I believe,
Half
Yeah,
Indian, yeah.
half
half
Indian. Yeah, so it's
Jamaican,
pretty
half
cool.
Indian.
Yeah, I think she speaks Tamil. But anyway, going back to our topic, also speaking, I know Harshita mentioned how she's like fluently able to speak Telugu. I think I'm on the other side of the spectrum where since I was kind of like I lived here for like a long time, but like because my English was not good, I had to stop speaking Telugu and practice my English. And over time, I kind of forgot how to speak Telugu. Like I could still understand, but it's harder to phrase sentences for me. So I feel like there are also people that can't speak Telugu that well, and it's really hard to communicate in India because you're kind of just perpetuating the stereotype that all Indians that live in America are like Americanized and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I
because I was like born in India. I lived there for like 2 years, so like Telugu was my first language, but I had to stop and speak English. So now I speak like this Tinglish thing where like
Yeah,
I
that's
mix
that I was gonna
words.
say that too, because like
I actually
I was born and raised in America, so I would say I'm kind of in the middle because although I was born and raised in America and I'm pretty fluent in English, I also went to India. I still do, except for the pandemic. I generally go to India every single year for summer break. And so I there's a couple of friends' birthdays who I don't really attend and I can't have like the quote unquote normal fun. But it's really fun going to India, every year and seeing all my family every year. So with that, I feel like I've developed some Telugu, but I speak Telugu, but I have an accent. I'm pretty sure I can't tell accents when people speak other languages, but I feel like I have an accent, and I also just sometimes involve English words while I'm speaking Telugu. So I'll speak Telugu, and then once in a while there'll be a little English in there, and then so yeah, kind of like the Tenglish that Hasni was talking about. I kind of speak both simultaneously, but I feel like everyone understands me pretty well.
I feel like the funniest thing is when you're trying to speak Telugu to like people who only speak Telugu, and then you're just putting English words in there, and they're like, "What?" And then you have to turn around and ask your parents, "How do you say this in this language? How do you say that?" And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
they're
yeah.
just
I a
watching.
lot of times I ask my mom. I turn around and I'm like, "How do you say this?" Because my grandma, she understands a little bit of English, and if I speak mostly Telugu and put a little bit of English in, she'll understand the general meaning. But sometimes just to make it not awkward, I have to ask my mom and be like, "What does this word mean in Telugu?" So I can just speak freely.
Yeah, sometimes whenever I want to ask my grandma something, I can't phrase the words. So my mom's just there like an interpreter or like a translator. I was like, Mom, I need to convey this message. Please, convey it to your mom, please. And then she would like say it in Telugu, and it's kind of funny, but my mom's just used to it now. I feel like they know that the role is interpreters whenever we go to India.
Yeah. And like, no, the funniest thing was like my cousin, he so he's like my age, I guess, and he can't speak English properly, but he needs to because his school was gonna like change the syllabus from Telugu to English. So he has to like learn how to read it and stuff. And I was like 7 at the time, while he was like 12, I guess. And I could like spell and read English like pretty advanced, I guess. And then I had to teach him how to like say cat in the hat or like dog and spell those. So I had the role of the interpreter, I guess.
Yeah, it's always interesting because sometimes they don't know how to speak English and you don't know how to speak Telugu. So it's kind of frustrating, but also kind of fun and interesting to teach each other, the other language.
I would recommend the experience 100%.
Dude, once I was so desperate, I was relying on Google Translate. Okay, it was not one of my best moments. But
Yeah,
No, my grandparents, they're always like when I go to like a cousin's house with my grandparents, like I talk in English because my cousins can like understand a little bit of English, but they're like talking Telugu and I'm like, I can't talk properly. Okay, what if I say something wrong? They're gonna start laughing like crazy.
they
people.
always make fun of me. Like my self-confidence is really low because every time I actually attempt to speak it, they're just like, no, that's not how you say it. You say it like that. And I'm just like, okay.
No, you expect your self-confidence to be high because you're like
Yeah.
like we said before, you're expected to be treated like royals, but like they just break you
And then
down
you
with anything
realize.
you say.
Yeah, and the weird thing is sometimes they say it to your face where they're like, "Oh, that's not true," but sometimes they turn around to like their other people or your mom or dad, and then they're like, "Oh, he or she really doesn't know how to speak," and you're like, "I can understand you. I can speak. I just can't speak it well."
yeah. Also,
And
I feel
also,
like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say for me, the weird thing I guess is that I feel like I have to speak Telugu when I'm in India, and so obviously with my parents and my sister and stuff, I speak only English. So yeah, kind of
Mhm.
feels weird because I turn around to my parents and then I speak fluent English, and then I turn around to my grandma and then I only speak Telugu. So it's like I only speak a certain language to a specific set of people.
Right. I feel like
Yeah.
sorry, were you gonna say something?
No, it's okay. You can continue.
Oh no, I was gonna change the topic to food or something. You could go ahead if you have something with language.
No, I was just saying that like it's like you have an alternate identities. Like you to one person you can like speak English fluently and you're just like a normal person to them, but then to others you're like this legend who's like, oh my god, they live in America, like yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys ever like when I'm talking to my parents, I talk in English, but like sometimes I subconsciously speak in an Indian accent. I don't know why, because sometimes I respond in English, except they have an Indian accent. So I subconsciously match theirs to like so they kind of understand what I'm saying. Because if I talk really fast like this, they don't really like know what I'm saying. So I have to sometimes switch to an Indian accent when I'm talking English. Like, do you guys ever do that?
Yeah, I thought it was like only me, but like when my mom's like speaking or something, like I'll just like match her accent and I'll just use her range of vocabulary. So she
Yeah.
knows. Because like if I start using my range, my parents have like no idea what I'm talking about.
Right? Like once I was on a phone call, like I was with my friend and my mom called me and I was talking to her. And after my friend was like, "Why did you speak in an Indian accent?" I was like, "What do you mean?" I guess I never really realized until someone pointed it out for me.
Yeah, same. Like my friend came over and then she was like, you know, there's a word, like I forget what it was, but like my mom, she doesn't know all the words. So she'll like just make up some word to like replace it. And I just like go along with it because, and they're like, you know, you could just say that, right? I'm like, yeah, but my mom doesn't know.
Yeah. Another thing I like about visiting India is the food stands, because in America, there are like really strict rules about health and setting up shops. But in India, they're like pani puri stalls all over the road. They're like five in every street. And it's just so like yummy because you don't find that in America. And pani puris are also like super cheap. So when I go to India, I gain like 7 pounds just from all that pani puri and chicken noodles and stuff.
I know, right? Like we have like so much like culture in our streets, like all these vendors, these food stalls, and I swear no pani puri in America can like match the deliciousness of the pani puri in India, like right off the street. Like it tastes so good. I can't describe it.
Yeah, like I was talking to my relatives when I was in India once. I was like, "You guys don't know like the privilege you have. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, you guys can eat pani puri, just like walk out the street and you'll find like 5 vendors for you. It's just in America, if you want pani puri, it's like $1 each pani puri. Like once I went to like an Indian store in America, and it was so expensive and it didn't even taste good. So and they would always make fun of me, like my relatives. They'd be like, oh, Shiny's gonna get so fat from eating all the pani puris. And I would joke about like stealing all the pani puris and like all the masalas and stuff and putting it in a suitcase and going to America with it. But yeah, it's really good.
I think another privilege that they have is like their parents like give them more freedom than here. Like, cause like just to like go out with my friends, I have to give them like a 2-week notice, or like just to go like to the store or something, you have to give them like a long time notice. But then they can just like walk out and go to like any street vendor to get any groceries, or the parents will like allow them to like go out with anyone, because literally everyone knows everyone. Like if you just wanted them back, you just tell your neighbor who'll tell their neighbor who'll tell their neighbor, and eventually reach the person's house you're in.
Right? Yeah, I feel like the sense of community is really strong in India, because if you just go in a street, somehow my grandma knows everyone that's living there and they have such a close relationship, even with the vendors. It's just really interesting to see, because in America, no one talks to each other. It's really different.
I feel like everyone knows each other. And also, it's kind of awkward for me, I guess, because personally, I don't know that many people. And so there's always an auntie or, someone who my grandma's like, oh yeah, look, this is the neighbor from 10 houses away. And I'm like, wait, who's that? And they just randomly come over to my house and they're like, oh, I heard you were studying geometry. And I was like, how do you know all this about me?
Yeah. Like they would know my name, my age, and they'd be like, oh, Shiny, how's school? And I was like, do I know you? Because they somehow know everything about me. And it's like, I really like India for that reason, because they're so extroverted. You could talk to a random stranger and you would have a deep conversation with them, because they're like, they make it so easy to talk to them because they have this sense of community and which is really different from America, because here everyone's just in their phones. Or like, the most I've ever gotten was a hi from a stranger. That too felt really weird. But in India, it's like considered the social norm to be like super,
And also I feel like not just in India, but just with Indian families or brown families in general, everyone's like an auntie or an uncle, or, if you have one of your friends and they have a grandma, you would call them by the name you would call your own grandma. So you would pretty much call them grandma. And so, you know what I mean? It's like, I feel like it's in the culture where everyone's just immediately close to each other and they have a sense of community.
Yeah, like I kind of envy that, because like I would want to be able to just like go out and then like suddenly have like a random conversation with a stranger, because I find it like really interesting. Like the best conversation you can have in America is like telling your order to like the Starbucks barista or something. I'll just be like, hi, how are you? But you can't just go on talking about your day and stuff like you could do in India.
I mean, I think there's a slight difference in when you're having a conversation with a stranger in India versus here. In India, at least, I mean, this might be different from everyone else, but for me, at least, like, how here you smile to someone just walking by on the street. You don't know who the heck they are. You've never seen them in your life, but they smile at you, so you smile back at them, and it's kind of courtesy to do so. Or if they say hello, you say hello back. But in India, like, if you smile at someone and they don't know who the heck you are, they will look at you with the face of like, who are you? Why are you smiling at me? Why are you looking at me? I don't know who you are.
But for the record,
sense of community in India than here. So,
but for the record, they probably know who you are, because literally everyone knows everyone.
Yeah, that's true though.
That's true. But I mean, within your neighborhood at least, like with
they're always talking to each other in the neighborhood. Like even if they don't know who they are, like if they have a friend of a friend, they just talk to each other and like become best friends.
Yeah, it's gossip, man. Indian aunties, they gossip so much, right? And they bond together from the mutual hatred of another Indian auntie. That's how relationships are formed in India.
It's more based off of the love of gossip.
Yeah.
Like, my cousin, she told me this story. Like, she went to like her friend's house or something after school, and then wanted her back, but they had no idea where she went because she never went. So like told their neighbors who told their neighbors, and it just passed on to like until the next village, which was where she was, and then she went back home. Like that's how it works there.
Wow, yeah, that's true. I feel like it's kind of like a game of telephone, you know what I mean? Where everyone's
Yeah.
sitting next to each other.
It
Yeah,
starts
and
off with I don't know, give me a random Indian name. Sumeda. It starts off with Sumeda has a cold to Sumeda is having an affair with her boyfriend or something like that. Like the telephone
yeah,
spreads like wildfire.
Yeah.
Right?
yeah,
Like
and
you gotta be
honestly,
careful when you're having
yeah,
conversations with people, and then you're like, you don't know what will happen.
what it could become.
And not just like the gossip that spreads, but like the speed that it spreads at. I swear to God, the fastest speed is not speed of light. It's like the spread of gossip in India.
It just goes like from like in like a second, the whole neighborhood would probably know like something about like a big news or something. Like it spreads that fast.
Yeah. And oh well, it seems like we've run out of time. I feel like we were really on fire today with this episode. We could probably talk more in detail about stuff like the community or food in later episodes, and we could go into depth. But I think for today, that's all we have left. And so, yeah, everybody who's watching or listening, like, subscribe, do all the things if you want to, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
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 Bye.